Hi, it's Laura. Today I'm sharing with you a day in the life with type 1 diabetes. There's a lot of extra steps and decisions that someone with type 1 diabetes needs to make in a day, and I hope this video will shed some light on what it's like to live with this condition. So the first thing I do every morning is check my blood sugar. I use the Freestyle Libre system, so it's a continuous glucose monitor, and there's a little filament that sits inside my subcutaneous tissue. There is a donut on it right now. But to take a reading, I actually just use my phone. And I open the app and press the scan button, and alright, scanned, and my blood sugar right now is 5.5, so I'm really happy with that number. It should usually be between 4 and 7 when you're fasting. So the next thing I'm going to do is eat my breakfast, but before I can eat my breakfast I need to do my insulin injection. I try to do my insulin injection about 10 minutes before I start eating. It's called pre-bolusing your insulin, and it can help prevent large spikes in your blood sugar, and I find it really works well for me. I eat pretty much the exact same thing every day for breakfast, so I always know it's going to be 30 grams of carbs. My insulin to carb ratio for breakfast is 1 to 10, so if I'm eating 30 grams of carbs, that means I need 3 units of insulin. However, today I noticed that it snowed a lot last night, and I'm going to go out and shovel my driveway after breakfast, so I'm actually going to take half a unit less so I don't go low while I'm shoveling, so I'm going to take 2.5 units for breakfast. So I do multiple daily injections to manage my diabetes, which means I take 4 injections at least a day. I use the NovoPen Echo. It's a pediatric insulin pen. What I like about pediatric insulin pens is that they do half units, so I can be more precise with my insulin dosing and I have a little bit more control. So the first thing I do before I do my injection is use an alcohol swab to clean off the site of injection. And I usually do my injections in my stomach, so I'm just going to clean off the area I'm going to inject into. While that alcohol is drying, I'm going to prep my pen, so it comes with pen needles to put on. So you just put on and twist on the pen needle, take off the outer cap. There's also an inner cap that comes off. The pen needle is 4 millimeters long, so it's actually quite small and it's pretty painless when it goes in. The next thing I'm going to do is dial up to 2.5 units. I like to pinch my skin a little to make sure I'm not injecting into muscle and I'm making sure I'm going into the fat. So I pinch, I do the insertion, I honestly can't even feel this. Then I just push down all the way. And then I like to wait a few seconds. If I pull out the needle too soon, some of the insulin comes out with it and I'm not getting the right dose. So I usually wait for about 10 seconds before I take it out. So I'm about to make my breakfast now. I usually use a food scale every morning to weigh out my breakfast, even though I eat the exact same thing for breakfast every day, just to make sure my carb count is accurate. So I'm having some yogurt for breakfast. It's plain Greek yogurt. There's some granola in there, some hemp hearts and berries, and altogether this is 30 grams of carbs. So before I start eating, I like to set a timer for 2 hours, and it's a reminder for me to check my blood sugar 2 hours later to see how it's doing. So it's been 2 hours since my breakfast, so I'm going to check my blood sugar now. I'm going to master this one-handed technique. And right now it is 4.9. 2 hours after a meal, your blood sugar should be between 5 and 10 millimoles per liter. So I'm 4.9, which is a little bit on the lower side. So I'm gonna have a little snack now because I want to go for a hike later this morning. So I'm about to drive to Komoka Provincial Park to go for a hike. What you might not know about type 1 diabetes or diabetes in general is that you need to have a blood sugar of over 5 to drive. So I'm gonna check my blood sugar right now. It is 5.2, so I'm safe to drive. And having a blood sugar over 5 just ensures you're not going to go low while driving, because if you're driving while low, that's actually impaired driving, which isn't safe. So I always check my blood sugar before I start driving, and I keep a stash of candy in my car just in case I'm a little bit lower so I can treat it before I drive. So I just got to Komoka Provincial Park and I'm going to be bringing a couple things with me so I can be walking safely. So the first thing I'm bringing is some candy in my pockets just in case my blood sugar goes low. I also have my phone with me to check my blood sugar. I'm also bringing the reader that goes with my Freestyle Libre to check my blood sugar just in case the battery in my phone dies. So my zipper pull says type 1 diabetic, And that's just in case I were having a medical emergency and someone didn't think to check my wrist for medical ID, because I'm wearing all sorts of clothes and people just might not think of it. So I've been walking for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to check my blood sugar again. It is 6.2, so it's nice and steady. So I'm halfway done my walk right now. I've been walking for about 45 minutes, so I'm going to check my blood sugar again. And it is 5.8 with the steady line. So I'm really happy about that. I don't need to have any snacks to keep going, so I should be good hopefully by the time I get back to my car. But we'll see. So I'm all done my walk. I'm gonna check my blood sugar because I'm about to drive again. And it's 5.2, so I'm safe to drive. And I'm gonna head home and eat my lunch. So I'm back at home and I'm about to take my injection for lunchtime. I'm going to have 50 grams of carbs for lunch. I had the same thing for lunch yesterday and I took 5 units of insulin and it was a little bit too much, so today I'm gonna take 4.5 instead. So I'm gonna check my blood sugar before I do my injection. And it is 5.2, so I don't need to do any kind of correcting dose there. And then through the Freestyle Libre app, I like to log all the information in there. So I'm gonna type in, I'm eating 50 grams of carbs, and I'm gonna take 4.5 units of rapid acting insulin. Injection number 2 for the day. So I like to rotate where I'm doing my injection. So my one this morning was up here, so I'm gonna go down lower for my one for lunch. Always make sure that I prime my needle as well to make sure the needle is full of insulin so I get the right dose. And I'm cranking it up to 4.5. And honestly, like I feel a little bit of a pinch for this one, but I don't feel a lot. They're pretty small needles. So for lunch today, I'm having an apple. I weighed this apple and it's about 12 grams of carbs. And I'm also having some chickpea lentil curry that I made yesterday, and this is 38 grams of carbs. So yesterday when I made this, I had to weigh out every ingredient and calculate the carbs. So when I make something myself, I tend to make multiple portions of it just because it takes so long to calculate carbs. And that way I can just make lunch the next day really easy and I don't have to do a lot of math. It's been a couple hours since I had my lunch, so I'm gonna check my blood sugar again. And it is 4.6, which is a little bit on the lower side. So I might have some chocolate as a snack. So I had my chocolate snack and then I danced around the kitchen and I just checked my blood sugar and it's 4.2 and I'm going low. So I'm gonna confirm with the finger prick and then decide if I need to eat a snack or not. So my Freestyle Libre reader also doubles as a glucometer, which is really handy. So I'm gonna get everything ready here. Got my lancing device and lancet. I use the My Gentile lancing device. It uses suction to take out the blood sample after you prick yourself. And I find it's a lot less painful than like a regular lancet. After the test strip goes in, apply blood. So I'm gonna prick my palm. Pumping up and down just helps me get the right size blood drop out of here. Alright, so I got a good size drop. I'm gonna apply the blood sample. We're gonna wait for the butterflies. 4.7, so I'm actually not as low as it's saying. So I'm just gonna leave this until dinner. My sister's over for dinner. We're gonna have some pasta. And I've calculated dinner to be 82 grams of carbs. Usually my insulin to carb ratio is 1 to 10, but I've just noticed over the last couple of days 1 to 10 just seems like a little bit too much. So I'm going to do 1 to 12 instead. So I'm going to take 7 units of insulin for dinner. So for dinner, I'm having pasta. It's 43 grams of carbs for the pasta, salad, which I think is about 5 grams of carbs, and a blondie, which is 34 grams of carbs. So altogether, it's 82. So it's an hour after dinner, and my sister and I have been goofballs, and I've been moving around too much. Oh my goodness. And now I'm 4.6 going down, so I need to eat something. It's a sad day. Oh, it was fun while it lasted. So now it's 4.2 with the straight down arrow. I feel much shame, but it's gonna be okay. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how my blood sugar was today. I never really went above 8. I went down to 3.4 after dinner, and that was only lasted for about like 10 minutes or so, and then I was back in range again. And I just really hate when I go low. It's annoying. Like, I wasn't hungry, but I was going low, so I had to drink that juice box. And my sister and I were just dancing around. I went low, and it's annoying that I can't just do those things. Like, I have to plan to dance around in my kitchen. I can't just spontaneously do something after I've had my insulin because my blood sugar is going low. It can be really annoying just how much control you lose when you have diabetes. Sometimes you have to eat food when you don't want to. Sometimes you have to eat food and you're already full. Sometimes you're hungry and you can't eat anything because your blood sugar is too high. You know, sometimes your blood sugar is really high and you need to go for a walk. Sometimes your blood sugar is too low, but you wanted to go for a walk at that time and you can't. So you have to be able to adjust when these things happen. And it can be really frustrating. And there's definitely been days where I've been really annoyed and I've been upset because I had a plan of what I wanted to do that day and I wasn't able to do it because of diabetes. So I'm back for my last shot of the day. Before bed, I take Tresiba, which is my long-acting insulin. I usually take 4 units of Tresiba. However, last couple nights I've gone low in my sleep and I think my basal's a little bit too high, so I'm gonna take 3 units of Tresiba instead tonight. So that's a day in the life with type 1 diabetes. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and it shed some light on what it's like to have type 1 diabetes and the kind of things that happen during a day. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.